And then it is Sainz, Leclerc, Ricciardo, Alonso, Vettel the top 10. Verstappen and Ocon just had a bit of a trafficky moment down at turn 1.
Interestingly, Verstappen's not got any quicker on these soft tyres than he did earlier on the hards. So that's why we've got Mercedes now 1-2. And Verstappen, having dominated the first half hour, switched to a soft tyre and found no pace. So he's now in third. There's only 2 tenths from him back to Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri in fourth, which suggests that there's plenty more to come from both Mercedes and Verstappen. Perez, meanwhile, the only car in the pits currently, is 11th, 1.1 seconds adrift of Hamilton, 9 tenths away from Verstappen. So slowly but surely, with 24 laps for Perez, he's crawled himself back to a more regular position, even if 11th is pretty underwhelming for a Red Bull. He's got himself back there, but he has done the most laps of anyone out there as well.
Rusty Bow Wow says, why are you assuming the spicy relates to Brazil? Is it not just the spicy engine that happened to be used in Brazil? It's because that was the engine they put in when Hamilton took the 5th-place grid drop for the Sunday Grand Prix. So it was a new engine in Brazil. So that's why we sort of refer to it as the Brazil engine. And we did those Caipirinha gags. Apparently I said Comparison at one point when I was talking about the gap between Perez and Verstappen, but it was entirely accidental.
Yeah.
Did you hear it?
We all heard it.
I didn't know I'd said it. There we go. Verstappen's been off briefly at turn 11 and continued on his way. Only 1 yellow flag. Well, a second yellow flag a moment ago.
Much better. Super.
Copy that.
We never found out, but that's my prediction. But overall, a very clean session indeed, with 90 seconds on the clock still. No one really improving at the moment, and Perez back in the pits. He's got to 1.1. He's got to 0.9 seconds from Max Verstappen, his teammate. So in terms of that comparison, it's better than 2.3, but it's still a pretty big gap at the moment. Just getting a replay of Lance Stroll trying to get past a Haas, and then I think Mazepin moved out of the way in the end, and then Stroll was a little bit of a sort of left his car in there a little bit more. Oh, and then the Haas was right on the racing line for when the Ferrari came through. So Stroll was a little bit not petulant, but sort of a little bit, you know, got his elbows out, and then the Haas of Mazepin was right on the racing line for Sainz.
It just got slightly wide actually, and was
it wasn't
even at lower speed caught some of the dirtier part of the track, and the way he was moving his hands at the wheel, there was no deliberate turn to Mazepin. It just looked like he's fighting the car a bit more, and it is quite dusty in some parts offline.
Here comes Verstappen on the soft tyre now. He's done the fastest first sector. He's a 10th off Hamilton in the middle sector, but he is quicker overall. He's coming into the final turn now at 27. With 20 seconds left on the clock. He's going to get a lovely slipstream here from George Russell's Williams. Opens the DRS. Russell doesn't open the DRS, so that'll be a tiny little more slipstream, but he still loses time in the end on that run to the line and goes slower than Hamilton. So, albeit by about 500ths of a second, or 600ths of a second, Hamilton's still ahead. Verstappen in second place as the checkered flag is out. The Ferrari takes it. Leclerc ahead of Sainz. Then Stroll coming through.
And Lando, if I were to say follow the dash, just check those new numbers.
Hamilton quickest on a 1 minute 29.786, a 10th quicker than Max Verstappen, 3 tenths quicker than Valtteri Bottas, 4 tenths quicker than Gasly in 4th, half a second quicker than Giovinazzi in 5th, who's ahead of the Ferraris of Sainz and Leclerc. Ricciardo 8th for the McLaren team. Alonso a second off in 9th. Vettel is 10th. Perez 1.1 seconds off Hamilton in 11th. Ocon, Norris, Stroll, Tsunoda the top 15. Raikkonen, Russell, Schumacher, Latifi and Mazepin, the 20 drivers.
So that is free practice 1. At the beginning I said, was it inevitable that we'd get a red flag? Jack, it's just as well you get paid the big money. Clearly not inevitable. No red flags.
We had 2 yellows. In an hour.
But I was expecting there to be a little bit of carnage, and there wasn't, which I'm pleased about, obviously. Sun just starting to set here at the...
So that's checkered flag, Lance, that's checkered flag. So we will go round to the grid for a start.
On the big, almost like tree trunk.